Ethan stepped onto the midnight train, rubbing his tired eyes. The station was empty, and the train smelled of metal and dust. The overhead lights flickered as he walked inside. He found a seat near the window and sat down with a sigh. The doors slid shut, and the train started moving. The sound of the wheels clicking on the tracks was the only noise. After a few minutes, Ethan looked around. Something felt strange. The other passengers were sitting completely still. No one moved, no one blinked. It was as if they were statues. A cold feeling crept over him. He cleared his throat. "Excuse me," he said, looking at the man sitting across from him. The man didn't answer. He didn't even turn his head. Ethan shifted uncomfortably. He glanced at the woman sitting to his left. She was staring straight ahead, her hands resting on her lap. Her chest did not rise or fall. Is she even breathing? The train passed a station, Midtown Station. Ethan looked out the window, watching the bright city lights. He tried to shake off his nerves. Maybe they're just tired, he told himself. But a few minutes later, something impossible happened. The train passed Midtown Station again. Ethan sat up straight. Had they turned around? No, the train hadn't stopped. It was as if it was going in circles. He looked around at the passengers, but none of them reacted. His heartbeat sped up. He stood up and walked toward the nearest door. He tried the handle. Locked. A small wave of panic rose inside him. He turned, searching for the conductor. That was when he saw it. In the window, his own reflection stared back at him, but something was wrong. His face looked pale, his skin grayish. But the worst part was his eyes. They looked empty, dark, lifeless. A whisper brushed against his ear. "You shouldn't have entered the train." Ethan spun around, his breath catching in his throat. The passengers had not moved, but now they were watching him. Their heads had not turned, yet somehow, he knew they were staring. His chest tightened, his breathing became shallow. He ran, past rows of motionless people, past their wide, unblinking eyes. His footsteps echoed in the silent train. He reached the conductor's door and pulled it open. The cabin was empty. The seat where the conductor should be was bare. The control panel was broken, wires hanging like veins from an open wound. The speed dial flickered, but no one was driving. Ethan felt his stomach drop. This isn't real. This isn't real. Then the train lights flickered again. A heavy pressure pushed against his chest. It felt like invisible hands pressing down on him. His legs became weak. He gasped, but no air filled his lungs. A whisper came from all around him. "You are one of us now." Ethan fell to his knees. His body felt frozen, too heavy to move. He tried to scream, but his lips wouldn't open. His vision blurred, turning dark. He felt himself sinking, deeper, deeper, into something cold and endless. Outside, the train passed Midtown Station again. Inside, Ethan sat back in his seat. His eyes stayed open, he never blinked, and the train kept going. Forever.